So, how are you doing?
Well, in Italy, the situation is quite fucked up, actually,
Yeah,
as you might know.
we do.
And
We're right behind you.
there's this new law now that everything which is what all the industry which is not essential has to be closed. So basically, just all the food industry is open right now, including wine. And then, like, gas stations are still open, of course, and banks are open only by appointment.
So, you guys, I've seen you guys have been out working in the vineyards. Are you still able to do that?
Yeah, so we closed the office and we closed the cellar. So right now there's nobody in the cellar and nobody in the office. And we have four people working in the office. And with me, four people, so three plus me. And these four people are working now in the vineyards. So I decided that who wants works in the vineyard, and who doesn't
Yeah.
want takes who doesn't want takes holidays.
Hello everyone, we are in our vineyard in Villa Rosa in Castellina and Chianti binding the wines. So you can see this is the soil we have, so a lot of galestro, which is this schist stone. And this is an old vineyard with vines which are 55 years old about. And binding is the moment after the pruning, which is done now in spring, where you have to get them down so that they have a form and the leaves and everything else grows up and not just randomly.
Now
Okay.
in the cities, the people are just allowed to walk in from 200 meters from their home.
Wow.
So you can go out for a walk, but
Yeah.
just 200 meters from your place.
I mean, where you are, you're in the middle of the countryside.
Yeah.
You're able to get outside and enjoy the
Yeah,
space at least.
I think I'm I'm here with my fiance,
Yeah.
and in a very privileged situation for
Yeah.
sure. We can go out, and there's of course no controls in the middle of the forest.
I saw that you're doing the shipping the wines online now, or at least people can contact you if they want to buy wine.
Yeah, that's an idea I had over the weekend actually.
Yeah.
Normally, if we don't promote our wines to private customers, I mean, I think it's in Europe it's a little bit different than, for example, in the US, where all the wineries have like wine clubs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Especially in Italy and in France as well, I think it's the same. It's not so popular because we believe that our distributors, like our Italian distributors, should sell our wine, and the wine shops should sell our wine, and it's not our job to sell our wines, and we don't want to want to get in competition with them, basically.
Yeah.
So this is why we never promote that much. Even if people can come here, of course, and can buy the wine, but it's not something that we promote. But as the situation is so special, and I thought it would be, and in Italy, there's a real health emergency right now, basically. So
Yeah.
everything is missing because obviously the hospitals are not prepared to have so many people in hospitals. And everything is missing from pharmaceuticals to the famous masks are missing.
Yeah.
And space is missing. Space is missing. So they're building every day new hospitals. So I thought it would be a nice gesture, even if it's a small gesture, of course. But it's still, I mean, if everybody does something small, we can reach something, I believe.
So you're donating 25% of the sales
Exactly.
to the hospital in Florence, is it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So the main hospital in Tuscany is in Florence. It's Carigi Hospital, which is a quite good hospital, fortunately. But still, they are out of money totally.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to donate 25%. And I put it yesterday on Instagram and on Facebook, and I got actually quite some response. Nothing.
Yeah, I
super
saw
big,
some
but-
messages from America.
Yeah,
as well,
but
yeah.
from many countries actually. I was like, there was one guy, this one Belgian guy. He bought like 60 bottles. I mean, I was like, wow,
Amazing.
thanks.
Amazing.
No, I mean, it means something. Yeah.
What have you got at the moment that you could recommend to people to order that's drinking? They can drink at home now.
Okay.
What's good
So-
to open now?
So now I'm. Wow, wait. now I'm in my now I'm in my apartment. So,
Okay.
but I brought just up some bottles.
Yeah, cool.
I can show them to you actually.
Yeah, please do.
So I brought up 2 Chianti Classicos, which
All
I
right.
like a lot. So we produce 3 different. So we are in Castellina and Chianti. Castellina and Chianti is between Florence and Siena, in the Chianti Classico area. So it's part of the really historical Chianti area. And we belong to Siena, but we are really just on the border between the 2 provinces, between Florence and Siena. And we produce wine in Chianti Classico, so we produce 3 different Chianti Classicos. And we also produce wine in Maremma. Maremma is a coastal area of Tuscany, so it's further southwest. And generally speaking, the wines from Chianti Classico, especially the higher altitude vineyards like Nittardi, are more about elegance, about finesse, about length. And the main grape variety is Sangiovese. So Sangiovese gives also all these attributes to wine. Maremma is a warmer area. Normally, our vineyards are around 300 meters high, and we are already quite high for Maremma standards. Like the most famous vineyards which belong to Maremma are probably wineries like Ornellaia, Persicaia, also Tuorita, and they're all really just on the coast, like 50 meters, 100 meters high. So they're even warmer than where we are. And because of the warmer climate, and also because maybe there's not so much tradition in Maremma. So Chianti Classico, for 1,000 years there has been winemaking, and there has been important families, noble families from Florence producing wine in this area. So this is why it has always been a bit of a traditional area, and there has been a little bit of experimentation in the 90s, but generally speaking, it's all about Sangiovese and traditional wines. Maremma is a bit more experimenting because it's a younger, high-quality wine growing area. So there has always been wine in Maremma as well, but not like more like really on a. I have my house and I have my little vineyard around the house dimension. So there was not really like a lot of commercial wine producing. So we started in Maremma in the late 90s, and not having this pressure, let's say, of tradition, we also planted different grape varieties that we thought worked well, like Cabernet Sauvignon, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc. And so in Maremma we produce 2 reds, which one is Sangiovese and Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, and the other one is Cabernet Sauvignon and Petit Verdot. And a white, a Vermentino, which is this very Mediterranean grape variety, which grows a little bit all around the Mediterranean basin. And Vermentino is very fresh, very mineral. I think a very, very good summer wine.
So show us the label you got there. Show us the label.
So these are 2 Chianti Classicos. This is Casanuova di Nittardi.
Okay, got it. And the vintage? 17.
17, yeah, that's 17. That's a current vintage. And this is maybe the wine we are most well known for, I would say. So this is a pure Sangiovese, 100% Sangiovese from a single vineyard. The vineyard is called Vigna Doghessa. My mom is from Venice, and in Venice you had the Doge. And the wife of the Doge was a mayor of Venice, and the wife of the Doge was called Doghessa. And in my family, we call my mom always a bit like fun in a fun Doghessa. And in Italy we say the man might be the head, but without without
the neck.
call, you are nothing. You would fall. So it's a bit of an homage my father made to my mother, calling the vineyard Doghessa.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's the single vineyard which has a southeast exposure, so it's not too hot. It's warm, but the sun goes away in the afternoon. So the grapes normally ripen rather regularly, and the wine is always not too big. It's always about elegance. And this is the first wine we started to make, or my parents started to make in 1981, when they started at Nittardi. And what is particularly about this wine that since the first vintage, every year a different artist paints two paintings. One painting is for the label, and a second painting is for the wrapping paper. So the bottles always come wrapped in artistic paper, which is an art piece by itself, actually. So you can.
Very cool.
When you open the bottle, you do like this, and you see this is 2017 wrapping paper, and again this is the label. And this year, the artist this year is a Greek artist. His name is Nikis Theodorakis. So he's a super famous composer and philosopher, and also painter. And he's now 94 years old. And there has been many famous artists from all over the world painting the two artworks, like Yoko Ono or Hundert Wasser and Horst Janssen. Then we had two English artists, Alan Jones and Joe Tilson. Nice. Yeah, 17 is a bit of a particular vintage because it's a warm vintage. So it was super hot all over Europe, I think, actually. And so it's this is a wine. Normally, I always say that these wines are the best 1-2 years after we release them. This is when they really start to show. But the 17, as it was such a warm vintage, is already nice now, I would say.
Super. Ready to drink now.
Yeah, I would say it's already drinking now. I mean, I just opened it and
So what are you gonna cook with that wine tonight?
So tonight, Eleonora, my fiance, wants to make some carciofi, which is
Artichokes.
Artichokes.
Yeah.
And very big artichokes, which we call mamme in Italy.
Mamme. Okay.
Like the mamma, like the mother.
Yeah.
They're super big.
What?
And he wants to do them in the oven with cheese and bread crumbles, so a vegetarian dish.
Yeah.
But this is a wine, so this is what we're going to eat tonight, actually, which is quite nice because the mamma are very nice. But it's for sure not like the classic combination.
No.
But the 17 is a rather, I would say, expressive and rather bold version of our Casanova di Nittardi.
Okay.
So this goes well with all kind of meat, I would say, but also with like a good pasta sauce.
Yeah, good classic rich Italian meat.
Yes.
And
yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Are you going to do the other? You've got another one there. Yeah.
I wanted to show this one because this is a wine. This is a wine which comes from an old vineyard, which is about 50 years old, a bit over 50 years old, and it's called Bel Canto, and it has 8 different stones on the label, and the 8 stones represent the 8 different grape. Yeah, it's shitty quality. You can't see it because it has because the vineyard has 8 different grape varieties.
Oh, great. Okay. Cool.
8 different grape varieties because it's a field blend. All the old vineyards in Chianti Classico are field blends. There's Sangiovese, but also other local grape varieties: Canaiolo, Colorino, Cilieggiolo, Mammolo, Foglia Tonda, Pugnitello, Malvasia Nera. And this is the vineyard where we are working in right now. There we have the buds out already like this, so like really the leaves nearly. And there's a risk that there's a little bit of frost risk. At Nittardi, there's just a little bit out, so I think in Nittardi we will be fine. It's a bit of a lighter version of the Casanova. So for me it's a perfect lunch wine actually. So
okay.
Maybe if you have to do a super complicated afternoon job, maybe not. But for a Saturday, if you don't want to sleep the rest of the day, this is a perfect wine. I enjoy to drink a lot over lunch because it's not too heavy. It gives you the right energy to continue the day well. And on the label, you can also see in the background of this, we have these 8 stones, which represent the 8 different grape varieties. And then you can see the face of Michelangelo Buonarroti, because Michelangelo was the owner of Nittardi. He was in Renaissance period. He purchased our estate from the church. So before Michelangelo, there were monks, Benedict monks, who already produced wine here in the Middle Ages. So there's a document from the Middle Ages which shows that Nittardi, which was called Villa Nectardei, there were monks producing wine. And Michelangelo bought it from the church, and he produced his own wine here as well. And then it went over to his nephew, and it stayed in the Buonarroti family for over 2 centuries until the 18th century. So in a little bit as an homage to Michelangelo, we put his face on the label. Yeah.
That's an incredible history. All right. Thanks, Leon.
Ciao.
Bye for now. Bye.